All right, so we're gonna wait a few minutes here, give people a chance to come in. I am a real American, fighting for the rights of every man. I am a real American, fight for what's right, fight for your life. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. When the world crashes down and it hurts inside. Do 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 do. You gotta come down. It don't help to hide. Do 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 do. Well, you hurt my friend and you hurt my pride. Gotta be the man. I can't let it slide. I am a real American, fighting for the rights of every man. I am a real American. Fight for what's right. Fight for your life. They call them they call them the naturals. Naturals can be, and they call them the naturals, 'cause they come naturally. They're the sons of a son, and the sons of a gun. We know they're the naturals. On the day I was born, nurses all gathered round. Head nurse spoke up. Leave that one alone. She could tell by the way, honey. It's bad to the bone, do 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 do. Bad to the bone, do 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 do. Bad to the bone, do 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 do. So take those old records off the shelf and believe in me by myself. Same music ain't got the same soul. I want that old time rock and roll. I want that old time rock and roll. The kind of music just soothes your soul. About the days of old. With that old time rock and roll. Hello. Glad to see you here. We're just waiting on some more people to show up. I do thank you for the like and share. Hey there, Rick. How you doing, my friend? Glad to see you here. As I said, just waiting on some more people to show up before we get started. If we can get one more person in here at least, I'll probably go ahead and get started at the 5 minute mark. Otherwise, we'll probably start at 10 minute mark. So, hope you had a good day today, and I hope you had a good weekend. Don't know if you saw me and Chris on. Well, actually, you did because we saw you there on RJ's stream last night. Uh, uh, yeah, it wasn't too bad. That's good to hear. Uh, Yeah. So, anyways, like I said, we're just waiting, y'all. And if there's anything you want to ask or talk about before I get started, Rick, feel free to there's anything you wanted to ask or ask me about in terms of anything, feel free to open up. Hmm. Anyways, uh, hmm. As we're waiting on the world to change. Yes, we're waiting on the world to change. I know. Keep us up from war. As we're waiting on the world to change. Yes, we're waiting on the world to change. Uh, hello, Ava. Um, or wait, is it Ava or oh, Era? I'm sorry. Want to make sure. I want to make sure when I'm talking to people that I getting their names right. Hey, Era, how you doing? Hope you're having a good day. Hope you had a good weekend. We'll probably be. I guess now that we do have at least three people in here now, it looks like. Let me just make absolutely sure. Yes, I can go ahead and talk about what's on tap for tonight. I'm good. Had a great day. How about you? All right, just my usual stuff. Just just trying to get going here. So basically, so this is what's on tap for tonight, guys. I have seven stories to go over. Five comics related, two anime related. Among the comic stories include let's see, IDW in their publication of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has announced the return of a fifth female turtle. We got some commentary on the state of comics from Grant Morrison and Chuck Dixon. Um, we got some more commentary from Marvel artist. Trying to remember the guy's name here. Let me see this guy's name. Oh, Alan Zelenet, and actor Jamie Lee Curtis is planning to do a some are calling climate change propaganda graphic novel called Mother Nature. On the anime side of things, of course, the anime side of things, um, we've got some Jujutsu Kaisen news, release news in terms of a trailer being released, um, as the voice cast announcements, and then we also have some news on Dragon Ball Super Superhero. People explain what's with the turn of the Red Ribbon Army. So, without any further ado, why don't we go ahead and let's get ourselves started here. Excuse me a moment. I'll be right back. Just got to go off camera for a moment. All right, I'm back. Let's go ahead and get started on these articles here then. Okay, so the first one we're going to get into here: fifth female Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle to make her return. Article by John F. Trent, published last Thursday, the 24th. So this one from a few days ago. IDW Publishing announced they will be including the fifth Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, a female named Venus, in their upcoming Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic book series. So, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the next. So, my guess is this particular Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle must have been introduced in the film, and then now they're Venus, named after the Venus de Milo, first appeared in Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation for Mutation's first episode back in 1997. The character was portrayed by Nicole Parker and voiced by Lelania Lindberg. Just in case you guys didn't know, Lelania Lindberg is a Canadian voice actress. She actually was the Ocean Studios dub artist on the first Dragon Ball series. So, the Ocean Studios dub of Dragon Ball, Lelania was the one who voiced Bulma in the Ocean Studios dub. She was, of course, eventually replaced as Bulma. Let's see, in the Funimation dub originally by Tiffany Vollmer, and then later, of course, Monica Rial. In the series, Venus is left behind when Splinter gathers up the four brothers and proceeds to train them. Instead, a shinobi magician named Chung Ai discovers her and takes her to China, raises her as his daughter, and even gives her the name Mei Pie Chi. He also trains her in the arts of shinobi. Of course, as some of us may know from watching a fair share of anime, shinobi is just another word for ninja. Let's see. Okay. She eventually makes her way to New York, where she teams up with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to defeat Shredder and the Foot Clan. The character and her creation was heavily criticized by Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles creator Peter Laird. Um, on his blog back in 2012, addressing fan concerns that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were being re-imaged as aliens, Laird wrote, quote, "Over the years, I have made no secret of my distaste for what I consider to be the weak, facile, um, creativity bankrupt idea, which can be summed up like this, quote, if four Ninja Turtles are good, then five or more Ninja Turtles must be better, unquote." So he's basically saying right there that he prefers quality over quantity, whereas those who've tried to you know change his work, as it were, prefer quantity over quality. He continued, quote, "It was in large part this brain dead notion that led to the creation of the execrable Venus de Milo character in the blessedly short-lived live-action TV series Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation." In smaller quotes, of course. Quote, I can't tell you how many times we got mail in the early years of the Turtles from people who thought it was simply an amazing idea to do a fifth turtle, in smaller quotes, and how many times the same people suggested that this fifth turtle be named Picasso. Oh boy. And many times the brilliant idea to explain the extra turtle was that instead of there being just four pet shop turtles in the glass bowl in the origin story, there were really five, he added. So I think his criticism there was oh poof, another turtle magically appears. That is probably something else. Let's see. Hey, Bat Goat. Hey, Intense Webs. Hey, guys. Thank you for being here. And as always, if you haven't already, if you can like and share the stream, I really do appreciate it. Hopefully, you guys are having a good day and had a good weekend. Let's see now. We have here. Hail, Mike Walters, Eric Cross comments. Hail, Eric. Okay. Hi, Intense Webs and Era Gelanium. What's up, bro daddies? Not much, Bat Goat. Hey, Bat Goat. Cross. All right. So hopefully you guys can get a. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the content thus far. Here we're going over this first story. Peter Laird, who originally created the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, uh, did not care for some of the adaptations that people have had. So here you go. Continuing on here. Despite Laird's previous criticism of the character, Venus will make her return in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 128. In a press release, IDW detailed, quote, first introduced as a live action character in the 1990s, Venus was the first female turtle preceding the fan favorite Janika, introduced to wide acclaim in IDW's best selling issue number 5 by over 2 decades. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Mr. Laird is not happy about this either. As discussed a few minutes ago, he prefers quality over quantity, whereas IDW um, prefers quantity over quality. And it's thinking like this. That's part of the reason why IDW is now down to something like 2.5 cents a share of stock per stock. And they go totally against what the creators originally intended for the characters. Quote, while Venus proved a polarizing figure at the time, fans can trust that, in brackets, Sophie Campbell, who has skillfully guided the narrative of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic book series for the past 2 years, will reintroduce the character in ways both shocking and mesmerizing, unquote, the company added. Again, because you're messing with Kanan. You're messing with established Kanan. To basically put your own narrative in there, which people don't care for. IDW is basically they've already again they have those licenses till the end of the year, I believe, but they've lost Transformers and GI Joe those licenses because Hasbro was fed up with losing money and toy sales going down. And they seem to want to do the same. They seem to be doing the same thing here with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Campbell added, quote, I'd been trying to make a Venus comeback happen for a while, and I almost can't believe it's finally happening. Whoa, what's this now? Sheesh. Somebody chopped up a turtle here. That's kind of grotesque. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles editor Tom Waltz also said, quote, "It's been amazing to watch Sophie Campbell continue our long-running Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle series with such careful consideration and commitment to the kind of character-driven storylines that have been always been the foundation of what makes all things turtles so beloved and eternal." Unquote. Quote, "And now she's crafted a clever plan to introduce a character from the past that many thought would never see the light of day again. She's doing it in fine fashion, continuing the IDW tradition of making the old feel both familiar and refreshing all at once, just in time for our big Armageddon game event, no less," unquote, he asserted. Yes, but this is again why their stock is only $2.50 a share, because they want, in their attempts to make it refreshing, they're going against the original concept, and fans are not totally buying it. And we've seen this. Seen this with, of course, the Transformers and G.I. Joe, and that's why they're losing the Transformers and G.I. Joe licenses. Let's see. Just put in a dash cam today. It's okay. Let's just put in a dash cam today. It's really small, but laugh a lot. It's basically worthless without a smartphone app, but at least I have it. Feels like an extra um, seatbelt. Laugh out loud. Shoot. All right. Yeah. Anyways. Alrighty then. So, anyways, Venus's return won't be a one and down. No, that's supposed to be one and down or one and done. IDW usually the saying is one and done, but I guess one and down. IDW details that her another typo there. Return is in parentheses quote here, part of a story arc that includes an issue number 130. So basically 127, 130, basically across 127, 128, 129, 130. That's a 4-issue arc right there. On top of that, she will also see, quote, her story will continue in this year's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Free Comic Book Day issue, and eagle-eyed fans may have already spotted her cameo appearance on the released cover artwork. In parentheses here, um, available for free at participating comic shops on May 7th. Here's a free comic book day of IDW 2022. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Heroes in a half shell. Turtle power. It's a more fearsome fighting team. An evil shredder attacks. These cut up boys don't cut 'em no slack. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, heroes in a half shell, turtle power. As for what is exactly happening in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles IDW reveals, quote, in the current storyline, the Turtles have their hands full navigating the factions of Mutant Town, a quarantined neighborhood in Manhattan's east side, populated entirely by victims of a mutagen bomb detonation, unquote. Quote, amid the mid gang tension from the territorial punk frogs and drama unfolding between the extra dimensional ultrons and triceratons, the turtles delve into the laboratory of the mysterious Dr. Barlow. Um, and what they discover will change the course of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles forever. End quote. They conclude. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 127 features artwork and a main cover by Pablo Tunica rather. Um, there will also be a variant cover by Kevin Eastman and a retailer incentive variant by Jared Cullum. Oh, now I see where the where she is. You make of the return of Venus? Well, not much I can say about it. More than likely, if things go the way that things have been going for IDW, though, it may not be enough to help save them. So, anyways, I'll be right back, guys. I'm just gonna go off camera here for a moment. We like my singing. Thank you, Batgoat. Every we all try to have fun here. So, anyways, getting ready to move on to the next article here. I know, and I think Yellow Flash talked a little bit about this too the other day on one of his videos. Grant Morrison on 2019 DC Comics exit. Monthly sales of new work were on the wane. Yeah, quote unquote. Audience engagement, quote unquote, seemed in decline. Yeah, I know Yellow Flash also did a video on this the other day. Article by Spencer McCooley published Friday. So yeah, so I think that's when it might have been Friday or Saturday when Flash did his video on it. So here we go. Reflecting back on their quote unquote breakup with the publisher, legendary comic book author Grant Morrison has revealed that they felt it was time to move on from DC Comics after noticing that quote monthly sales of new work were on the wane unquote and quote excited engagement from fans quote unquote seemed in decline. So yeah. And with stuff like this, well, this is The Authority. I think this is what All Our Tomorrows by Grant Morrison. Superman and the Authority, Volume 1, Number 1, All Our Tomorrows 20. Yeah, Grant Morrison recently came back to, let's see, words by Grant Morrison, art by Michael Janin and Jordi Belair. The Final Crisis architect touched upon their exit from DC in a post published to their Substack page. Xanadum on their Substack page, Xanadum, on February 14th, so Valentine's Day, wherein they provided. You notice how they refer to Grant as they instead of he, like he's a group of people. They provided a behind the scenes look into the chain of events that led to them signing on to write the Superman and the Authority miniseries. Opening with the blatant recollection that, quote, by the end of 2019, it was pretty much over between me and DC superhero comics, unquote. Morrison went on to discuss how at that point in their career, quote, the writing, in bracket here, of their departure was so obviously on the wall that there was more writing than the wall. Yeah, I remember Flash mentioning that too. Part of the quote there. In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light. Classic saying, of course. Green Lantern, Volume 1, Number 1, Intergalactic Lawman, 2019. Word by Grant Morrison, art by Liam Sharp and Steve Olive. Quote, while the back catalog stayed steady, unquote, said Morrison, quote, monthly sales of new work were on the wane, and the kind of inventive and exuberant audience engagement characterized characterized the 2000s when I was in the spotlight as the writer on various Batman titles seemed in decline, unquote. Well, yes, it's in decline because they're replacing good writers like you, Mr. Morrison, with woke garbage. Classic. Quote, I'd always considered my work in comics as a kind of live performance, where the feedback was nearly instantaneous. But the cheers of the crowd were being replaced by a clearing of throats, a shuffling of feet, and although punctuated by the odd half hearted yay, it was clear that, in small quotes here, Wednesday Warrior readers of DC superhero titles were less and less interested in what I had to sell, unquote, they added. Green Lantern, Volume 1, Number 2, Darkness Visible. Words by Grant Morrison, art by Liam Sharp and Steve Olive. However, Morrison noted that there was no ill will between themselves and the former publisher, as both of their final DC projects are run on Green Lantern with Liam Sharp, and the third and final volume of Wonder Woman Earth 1 shared the same message of optimism for the universe's future. Quote, in each case, the message I hoped was plain as the nose on your sister, unquote. They elaborate. Interesting twist on that saying. Quote, I was saying goodbye to this fictional universe where I'd spent so many happy hours, leaving it in a couple in the capable, sweaty hands of younger, more dedicated, enthusiastic, and energetic open cast mind workers. There's Batman as a Green Lantern. Turn on, tune in, drop out. Day the stars fell down. Morrison then disclosed that their return was not only influenced by DC's now abandoned 5G reboot, as previously confirmed by their revelations, specifically to stop former they returned specifically to stop former DC Comics publisher Dan Didio from using the initiative as a chance to turn the Man of Steel into a quote unquote right wing authoritarian unquote, but born out of a specific request from a fellow DC writer to help steer the line in a different direction. Quote, the 5G timeline is a fascinating document and a heroic attempt to unify all of DC's history and allow characters to age and die in real time, unquote. They wrote, which I kind of like that idea. That in some ways, that's part of the reason why I like to read DC Comics. I try to do that in my own way when I read DC Comics. I kind of like that idea. Sounds like a cool idea. Me. They wrote, quote, it had genuine potential to shake things up, but was seen as too radical. Yeah, because you had probably by this point had started a lot of these woke people coming in, and the last thing they wanted was for DC to continue its conservative mindset. Man and the Authority, Volume 1, Number 3, Grim Dark. Though they were personally, quote, captivated by 5G's ambitious do or die grandiosity, unquote, Morrison found that, quote, fellow freelancers felt differently, unquote. Quote, such was the massive and catastrophic impact on their plans that DC's most prominent writer at the time, someone I respect a great deal, called to enlist my aid, what he described as an, in smaller quotes, intervention. They divulged, in quotes, I felt we should just let it rip and make hay, which was easy for me to say as I knew I was on my way out. And I wasn't having years worth of story planning thrown out, unquote. At the time of Morrison's 2019 realization, though DC's lineup featured few well regarded series such as Scott Snyder's run on Justice League Volume 4, Robert Vendetti's Freedom Fighters Volume 3, Dan Abnett and Jack Herbert's The Silencer Volume 1. It was overwhelmingly marred by some of the publisher's most widely panned titles in recent years. These included Kelly Sue DeConnick's run on Aquaman Volume 8. Kelly Sue DeConnick, if everybody remembers her, she's the one who basically told fans, well, if you don't like my politics, don't buy my book. The purple haired people eater. uh, Tom King's run on Batman Volume 3. The guy who basically went after one of his co-creators on the day that he was burying his beloved family pet. And King's Heroes in Crisis Event. That must be their take on Barry Allen. Heroes in Crisis, Volume 1, Number 8, Alive. Words by Tom King, art by Mitch Beards. Excuse me a moment. I got to go off camera here for a quick moment. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Further, 2019 also saw the debut of two Shutter DC imprints in the relaunch of Vertigo, which debuted with such winners as Eric M. Esquivel's Border Town and Zoe Quinn's Goddess Mode. Oh, I heard about Zoe Quinn's Goddess Mode. Apparently, it didn't really do as well as they thought it was going to do. I know that Vera Dark was talking a bit about it the other day when she did a video on DC's decline. And Brian Michael Bendis has led Wonder Comics, most most notable for its introduction of Naomi to the DCU. Bordertown Volume 1, Number 1, Numero uno es a hell. So, translator, that's number 1, welcome to hell. Words by Eric M. Esquivel, art by Ramon Villalobos and Tamara Bonvillian. Basically, I guess this was a Spanish title, Spanish based book. What do you make of Morrison's insight into the current DC Comics landscape? Let us know. Yeah, I think he was really spot on. What do you guys think of his commentary right there? You guys have anything you want to say about it before I get ready to move on here? I'll be right back. Feel free to comment on what we just read there if you guys have anything you'd like to add to the conversation. Well, I guess if nobody's got anything to say on that article, we'll move on to the next one here. All right. Chuck Dixon launches new post-apocalyptic series, in smaller quotes, Unprepped, with longtime collaborator Scott Beatty. Um, Article by John F. Trent, published on Friday there, February 25th. So let's see what this has to say here. Chuck Dixon and Scott Beatty are teaming up once again for a new post-apocalyptic dramedy series titled Unprepared or Unprepped. This is a very interesting look here. Dixon and Beatty previously teamed up at DC Comics for Robin Year One, Batgirl Year One, Nightwing Year One, and Joker Last Laugh, and they plan on bringing that magic to Unprepped. They are joined by artist Marlon Shoup and colorist Brett R. Smith. The five-issue miniseries is being published by Antarctic Press, and will be available to purchase on May 25th, 2020. So exactly 3 months from when this article was printed here. Antarctic Press, and think I've heard of those guys. I think they've been on RJ's stream before. Robin Year One right there. There's a Mad Hatter, Robin, and a few others. The official description states, quote, you may think you're ready for the apocalypse. But even after lockdown plagues, town raising natural disasters, and an ever present threat of rogue nations going nuclear, the average Joe just isn't prepared for a total global disaster, unquote. Quote, witness mankind's transition from the digital age to the stone age in the blink of an eye, and the only light comes from the angry sun setting on two families struggling to survive, unquote. The description continues. It concludes, quote, comics legend Chuck Dixon reunites with frequent collaborator Scott Beatty to chronicle the final days with artist Mark Shoup. It's the end of the world as they know it. As they know it. Unprepped. The series was initially supposed to be published by IDW Publishing back in 2019, with Beatty detailing on his blog the series would be published in January 2019. However, IDW never published the series. In an update on his blog about the series in April 2020, Beatty provided details on why the series was never published, as well as more details about the series. First, describing the series, he wrote, quote, in short, Unprepped was and is a post-apocalyptic dramedy chronicling the misadventures of two families doing their level best to stay alive following a worldwide disaster, the nature of which I won't spoil here, unquote. He added, quote, it's both high concept and low hanging fruit, the kind of idea that instantly conjures up casting call wish list of actors we see transitioning the graphic novel to streaming television, or if we were so blessed, a major motion picture, unquote. Quote, I think our proposal even billed it as the next Jason Sudeikis, Jennifer Aniston road picture, unquote, emphasizing to the targeted publisher um, that the story elements and action set pieces were tailor made for development as a live action um, project. At the time of pitching, both Chuck and I were well aware of the growing hunger and deep pockets of streaming media like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Hulu, just to name a few, for content, particularly content based on comic books, unquote, unquote, he explained. Okay, I've got to step away from the computer for a moment. I'll be right back. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying the content. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. All right, so continuing on here then. Later in the post, he provided some more details. Quote, Marlin brought a fun style to the series that perfectly captured the mix of post apocalyptic dread and physical comedy as our hapless families found themselves in one escalating predicament after another. Beatty would go on to reveal that the series was greenlit same day that he and Chuck pitched it to IDW. However, despite the entire series being written, penciled, inked, and colored, IDW Publishing never published it. Beatty details they constantly moved the book's release date back. Beatty and Dixon inquired as to why the book was not being released. He was told, quote, IDW was waiting for a, in smaller quotes, better market that was, in smaller quotes, more favorable to the creator owned projects. Prepper do it off the grid. Interestingly, IDW Publishing still didn't publish the book, and Beatty reveals he eventually discovered they, quote, had no intention of publishing Unprepped, unquote, claiming that the series, quote, no longer fit their business model, unquote. Making this even more perplexing is that Beatty notes, quote, the company had paid for scripts from us, art from, Marlin, and colors from industry vet Brett Smith. IDW's investment in it alone amounted to a heavy five-figure sum from soup to nuts. Oh boy. that tells you something right there. These people, so IDW invested quite a bit of money into this and then scrapped it. I know Tug has talked about this. I know Flash talked about this. I know a lot of people talked about this. Seems like these major companies don't want to make money. I don't know. They something's just screwy with them. They're just it's like I don't know. It's like these people think toilet paper or think money is toilet paper or something like that. They just that's the way they're using. They're using money like it's toilet paper. Oh boy. Oh boy. Beatty goes on to reveal that IDW agreed to sell the intellectual property back to him and Dixon. The two then tinkered with the idea of crowdfunding in order to attain the undisclosed sum of money to purchase it back, and then offer it as a digital first series or packaged as a graphic novel. However, those plans were halted due to COVID-19 policies and restrictions implemented by numerous government entities and private corporations that crippled the comic industry. With the shutdowns taking over the country, Beatty proposed IDW publish the book for free as a quote goodwill gesture from both the publisher and creators for the love of comics and the appreciation of the fandom that keeps it alive, unquote. However, IDW Publishing never even responded to the proposal. While IDW sat on the property, Beatty noted their control of it expired on April 30th, 2021, and the rights would revert back to him and Dixon, which they appear to have as they are now publishing the series through Antarctic Press. Good for them. Take it to a company that actually wants to make money. Take it to a company that doesn't think money is toilet paper. You can pre-order the series via Things from Another World. The first issue will retail for $3.99. Do you plan on checking out Dixon and Beatty's? Well, the artwork looks pretty interesting. Let's see. Hey, Lorenzo. JK. Hey, Mike. Hey, Lorenzo. Welcome to the stream. I hope. Glad you're here, my friend. If you haven't already, if you can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more people in here, that'd be appreciated. We had some interesting articles tonight, and we're not even halfway done. We got 7 in total. I've just been able to get through 3 thus far. So getting ready to continue on to the next article here. Um, Unless you guys have anything you'd like to say in regards to the articles that we've read thus far, for those who've been here and have heard the articles thus far we talked about, before we get ready to move on to the next one. Just seeing if anybody wants to add to the conversation or anything like that. Before I move on. All right. Well, with that being said, we'll continue on then. Right, so here's the next article. Marvel writer who confirmed Moon Knight's Jewish background addresses fan concerns over Oscar Isaac casting, quote unquote, I don't care. All right. Article by Spencer McCooley, published February 26th, which was this past Saturday, I believe. So Alan Zelentnich, um, the writer who originally introduced Moon Knight's Jewish heritage into Marvel canon, has revealed that he doesn't particularly care that the character's upcoming Disney Plus series remains faithful to this aspect of the Fist of Khonshu's identity. Oscar Isaac is Moon Knight in Marvel Studios Moon Knight. Okay. A school teacher turned comic book writer, Zelenich, um, was a brief member of the Marvel bullpen during the 1980s, creating Alien Legion for the publisher's Epic Comics imprint, and authoring notable runs on such core series as The Mighty Thor, Call the Conqueror, and of course Moon Knight. Zelenick established Moon Knight's Jewish background in Moon Knight number 37, 1984. Here's that comic right there. Cover date March of 84, or May of 84, I believe. Red Sins. Cover art by Michael Kaluta. Therein, Mark Spector, the white-clad vigilante alter ego, recalls that his parent, quote, came to America just after Hitler's goose steppers turned Czechoslovakia into a German puppet, unquote, during World War II, and that his father was an, quote unquote, ordained rabbi who, quote, went on to become a brilliant scholar in the Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism, unquote. Quote, in America, he was lucky just to be alive, unquote, Spectre ends. Moon Knight, Volume 1, Number 3, Red Sins. Words by Alan Zelenich. Art by Bo Hampton, Armando Gill, and Ben Sean. The issue also sees Spectre save a rabbi and a Torah scroll from, from a burning synagogue, which he discovers was set alight by a group of anti Semitic thugs. Further, between issue number 37 and its follow up, which also serves as the end of Moon Knight's first volume, Zelenich introduced the villainous Zohar, a man who studied the Jewish mystic teachings of the Kabbalah under Spectre's father before becoming obsessed with keeping the information to himself. Zelenick made public his indifference to the Disney Plus Moon Knight series, respecting his source material during an interview with Ford culture reporter PJ Grissar, given in reflection to the live action adaptation upcoming premiere. As Grissar turned to discuss the preemptive outrage from fans who accused Isaac's casting as the Crescent Crusader as an erasure of his Jewish heritage, Zelenitz asserted that Marvel is certainly not bound by any origins. Oscar Isaac is Stephen Grant, Mark Spector, and all right. So I'm guessing Oscar Isaac isn't Jewish, even though it sounds like a Jewish name. And I think fans are upset because they think he should be that they should cast a Jewish actor. Is that where this is kind of going? Anyways, continuing on with the article here, quote, all of a sudden the Jews need to be represented. Moon Knight has to be Jewish, unquote, said Zelenitz, going on to mockingly mimic some of the rhetoric he had seen surrounding the series' casting decision. Quote, oh, we're watching Marvel. The boycott is around the corner. Smaller quotes. I can smell blood in the water already. Quote, how could they not make him Jewish? Oscar Isaac is not Jewish, even though he has the name Isaac. Smaller quotes. And they've got an Egyptian director. What's going on here? Unquote. Yeah, it does seem to be much ado about nothing, as Shakespeare would put it. Oscar Isaac and Stephen Grant and Khonshu, voiced by F. Murray Abraham in Marvel Studios' Moon Knight photo curse. Okay. He then declared, quote, so he's not Jewish, and he won't be Jewish. And Arthur Harrow, an original Zelenitz character who will be portrayed by Ethan Hawke on the small screen, won't be the character I created, so what? Unquote. Quote, if he's not Jewish because there's a good artistic reason he's not Jewish, that's perfectly okay, unquote. He added, quote, I don't care, quote unquote. Moon Knight, Volume 7, Number 5, Scarlet, 2014, words by Warren Ellis, art by Declan Shalvey and Jordi Belair. Um, Zelenitz concluded by proposing that if Marvel does confirm Spectre's Jewish lineage, quote, the series would be a great place to explore an ancient Egyptian god and a Jew, unquote. Quote, maybe the ancient Egyptian god wants to make up for all those ancient Egyptians who couldn't keep up with Moses, unquote. He playfully opined, quote, that would be a good storyline, unquote. What do you make of Zelenitz's indifference to Disney potentially shifting away from Spectre's Jewish heritage? Let us know your thoughts on social media or in the comments down below. Yeah, I mean, it does seem like it's kind of much ado about nothing. But, anyways, um, I don't know anything about any of these characters. Moaning is heard from back. Oh boy. Moaning continues. Action walks out from the back. Three women came out standing next to him and lights go dark and flicker back, back on, action's gone. All three are suddenly expecting. What, going up to Space Mountain there, toys? Huh? Going up to space, and I do thank you for the like and share. I've got to step away from the computer for a moment, guys. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Let's see. Nah, just cutting my loss. I pop in my. Well, I had to go take care of something real quick, toys. Well, my cell's gonna die later, peeps. Take care, ATC. Well, thank you for dropping in, ATC. Anyways, so getting now on to the next article here. Let's see now. Hour 14, so we're making at least decent time here. All right, so here's another interesting article here. Jamie Lee Curtis to write climate change propaganda graphic novel titled Mother Nature. Jamie Lee Curtis, of course, a pretty famous movie actress. I think she's the daughter of Tony Curtis, I believe, but I'm not completely sure. But anyways, article by John F. Trent published today. Actress Jamie Lee Curtis is following the path of Emilia Clarke and will be pushing her own brand of political propaganda in a new graphic novel from Titan Comics titled Mother Nature. I wonder how Emilia Clarke sold. In a press release from Titan Comics, they revealed Curtis is teaming up with filmmaker Russell Goldman to write a book, and they will be joined by artist Carl Stevens. The graphic novel also happens to be an adaptation of an upcoming horror film from Comet Scriptures and Blumhouse titled Mother Nature, that is being directed by Curtis. So let me ask you guys something. You think this will sell? A climate change graphic novel. Who's going to be the star of this book? Greta Thunberg? Uh, as for what the book is about, the official description states, quote, Nova Terrell, who, after witnessing her father die in mysterious circumstances on one of the Cobalt Corporation's experimental oil extraction projects, has grown up to despise the seemingly benevolent company that the town of Catch Creek, New Mexico, relies on for its jobs and prosperity. Quote, the rebellious Nova wages a campaign of sabotage and vandalism against the oil giant until one night she accidentally makes a terrifying discovery about the true nature of the quote unquote Mother Nature project and the long dormant, vengeful entity it has awakened that threatens to destroy them all, unquote, concludes the description. Speaking about the graphic novel, Curtis stated, double quote here, I first thought about this story when I was 19 years old. I've always been aware of the very unbalanced relationship between humans and nature. And even though I was young, I always knew that inevitably nature would win, unquote. She added, quote, I have long admitted and collected Carl's work, and I'm very excited he suggested expanding the idea to turn it into a graphic novel. The partnership between Titan has now given us a wonderful platform to begin to tell our story, unquote. Rumble! Let's see now. Let's see. Check out the Action Toys channel. Yep, alright. So, you guys think this will sell? Love to hear your comments on that particular part. If there was any doubt that the book wasn't climate change propaganda, Stevens asserted, quote, I was immediately blown away by the depth of the characters, the perfect blend of action and gore, the urgent ecological message, and how all these things would translate beautifully into a graphic novel, unquote. Goldman would echo Stevens' claim, quote, we wanted to reach deeper than the big picture doom and gloom of climate change narratives to tell a story specific to Four Corners, New Mexico, an amazing part of the world um, where every major source of energy is mined and where the climate and resource crisis are acutely felt. Unquote. Quote, we wanted to use the themes to shape a story that feels intense, honest, and unexpectedly aspirational, Goldman declared. Oh, that's kind of a gory shot right there. Like having a head completely blown off. Titan Comics would also assert in their press release, quote, with the pressing need for stories that shift our collective attention towards our devastating climate emergency, Titan Comics is proud to be publishing the eco horror graphic novel Mother Nature. Yes, it is climate change propaganda. They're making it pretty clear there. Curtis has not hidden her views on climate change. In May 2017, she declared, quote, climate change is real. This is not a test, not a drill. Exiting the Paris Agreement is driving me kofif. The Halloween and True Lies actress was also one of a slew of celebrities that praised child activist Greta Thunberg following her speech to the United Nations. Curtis wrote in 2019, quote, last night's speech by Michelle Williams and Alex Bornstein, and today's by Greta Thunberg, women stepping out of line. The hardcover book is 156 pages in length. It will retail 20. Yeah, who's gonna pay $25 to be lectured to about climate change? Really? Who? I don't think people would. I don't think a lot of people would pay $1, no less 25, to be lectured about climate change. And is expected to hit comic book shelves sometime in fall 2022. What do you make of new climate change propaganda? Yeah, I think it's going to probably bomb because I don't think you're going to have a lot of people. Like a lot of people who might be interested, don't think have either the money to pay that. I don't think people would pay $1 to be lectured to. Um, I looked it up. Tony Curtis and Janet Lee are. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I don't remember Tony Curtis obviously. Hence the name Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah. But Lorenzo, what do you think? You think that's a bomb? You think that's a bomb waiting to happen? Think that book's gonna? Would you pay $25 to be lectured to about climate change? And I'm not just asking Lorenzo, of course. He just happens to be the one who's most vocal here. But I'm asking everybody here: would you pay $25 to be lectured to about climate change? Might be a very interesting thing to hear your opinions on. And as I wait for you guys to respond, I guess I'll prep to go on to the next article, which in this case will actually I think that was the last. Yeah, that was the most recent article on this one. So it's now time to get to the anime stuff. I think we do have enough time to get through both these anime articles. Hmm. Before I get into the anime, I just want to see if you guys have anything you'd like to add to that, um, or if you guys would honestly pay $25 to be lectured to about climate change. I take climate change very seriously, but think it's rich people like Jamie Lee Curtis that are likely the ones causing it. Hmm. Well, that's kind of interesting. Hmm. All right. Well, let's continue on then. Unless there's anything more people would like to add. See one more time there. No. All right, so we got a couple anime articles to go through here. It looks like we're making good time. We're at hour 25 mark here, and on an hour coming on an hour 26. So we'll get through all 7 of these pretty here. 5 articles down, 2 more to go. New trailer released for Jujutsu Kaisen Zero voice cast also announced. Article by John F. Trent, published February 25th, which was this past Friday. Crunchyroll dropped a new trailer for their upcoming theatrical release for Jujutsu Kaisen Zero, which from what I understand, is actually supposed to be a prequel to the Jujutsu Kaisen anime series. On top of the trailer, they also announced the voice cast for the anime film. The film, which is based off the Jujutsu Kaisen Zero prequel manga by Gege Akutami, follows, quote, Yuta Okotsu, a nervous high school student who enrolls in the mysterious Tokyo Jujutsu High School under the guidance of Satoru Gojo after being haunted by the curse of his childhood friend, unquote. A more in-depth official synopsis begins, quote, when they were children, Rika Orimoto was killed in a traffic accident right before the eyes of her close friend Yuta Okotsu. In smaller quotes, it's a promise. When we both grow up, we'll get married. Smaller quote. Rika became an apparition, and Yuta longed for his own death after suffering under her curse. But the greatest jujutsu sorcerer, Satoru Gojo, welcomed him into Jujutsu High, unquote. Quote, there, Yuta meets his classmate, Maki Zainen, his classmates, Maki Zainen, Toge Inumaki, and Panda, and finally finds his own determination, smaller quotes, I want the confidence to say it's okay that I'm alive, smaller quote, smaller quote, while I'm at Jujutsu High, I'll break Rika-chan's curse, unquote. Synopsis states. It continues, quote, meanwhile, the vile curse user, uh, Suguru Geto, who was expelled from the school for massacring ordinary people, appears before Yuta and the others in smaller quotes. This coming December 24th, we shall carry out the night parade of 100 demons, unsmaller quote. Since the synopsis concludes, quote, while Geto advocates for creating a paradise for only Jujutsu sorcerers, he unleashes 1,000 curses upon Shinjuku and Kyoto to exterminate all non sorcerers. Will Yuta be able to stop Geto in the end? And what will happen to breaking Rita's curse? Unquote. The voice cast for the film sees Yuta Okotsu, voiced by Megumi Ogata in Japanese and Kaylee McKee in English. Rika Orimoto is voiced by Kana Hanazawa in Japanese and Anari Kionis in English. Maki Zenin is voiced by Mikako Komatsu in Japanese and Allegra Clark in English. Of those 3, the only English voice actress I know of right there or have heard of is Allegra Clark. I know she's based out here in LA. Let's see what the rest of it. Koki Uchiyama voices Toge Inamuki in Japanese, while the character is voiced by Xander Mobus in English. So basically, the English dub is being done out here in LA, it looks like. Um, Tomokazu Seki voices Panda in Japanese, with Matthew David Rudd voicing the character in English. Yuichi Nakamura does the voice of Satoru Gojo in Japanese, while Kaiji Tang voices the character in English. Finally, Takahiro Sakurai voices Suguru Geto in Japanese, with Lex Lang providing the English. So, yes, the English dub is done out here in LA. It's being done out here in LA. So. Tickets for the film are on sale now in the United States and will be available on March 1st in Canada. The movie will screen in over 1,500 theaters and arrives in theaters on March 18th. The movie has a runtime of 105 minutes, or an hour and 45 minutes, basically. Do you plan on seeing Jujutsu Kaisen Zero? Not in the immediate future, anyways. Let's see. So, any comments on that article? Anything you guys would like to add to the conversation there? Give you guys a sec to see if you guys want to say anything in regards to that. Anyways, okay. Alrighty then. So this is going to be the last article we're going to. Oh. I don't pay much attention to Hollywood movies anymore. Well, that's not a Hollywood movie though, Lorenzo. That's an anime movie. There's a series called Jujutsu Kaisen that's out right now. That's actually pretty popular. So, anyways, we'll move on to the last article here of the night. Dragon Ball Super superhero production team explains return of Red Ribbon Army teases debut of teenage Gotenks. Gotenks is the fused form of Goten and Goten, who is Gohan's younger brother, the younger son of Goku and Chi Chi, and Trunks, the son of Bulma and Vegeta. So, article by Spencer McCooley, published February 26th, which was this past Saturday. Let's see. I'm sorry, I got distracted. What did you think of that previous anime you mentioned? Um, yeah, I haven't seen it myself yet, but I haven't seen Jujutsu Kaisen myself, and it may be a while before I actually see it. But I've heard it's pretty popular. It's, a pretty popular one. Um, anyways, during a recent Dragon Ball Live event, the production team behind the beloved Shonen series, upcoming film Dragon Ball Superhero, revealed a bevy of new information about the project, including insight into the decision to bring back the Red Ribbon Army and a tease um, of the possible appearance of a teenage Gotenks. What I had mentioned here in regards to Dragon Ball, of course, is that Gotenk is the fused form of Goten and Trunks. Goten, who is the younger son of Goku and Chi Chi, and Trunks, who's the son of the older child of Bulma and Vegeta. So these new details surrounding the film were revealed during a Dragon Ball superhero centric panel held during a recent Dragon Ball Games Battle Hour 2022, hosted by an MC by the name of Sasha. The panel's guests included Shueisha executive producer Akio Iyoku, Toei Animation producer Norihiro Hayashiba, and making his on camera debut, the film's director, Tetsuro Kodama. Timestamp 7:02:40. The panel began with a discussion of the film's previously released key visual. Drawn by series creator Akira Toriyama himself, the key visual sees newcomers Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, Goku, Piccolo, Vegeta, Gohan, Pan, and three as of yet unidentified Red Ribbon associates standing in front of the latter group's limousine. Quote, up until now, Goku has always been the main focus, but from the start, Toriyama sensei said that we would be seeing more characters we may not expect, unquote, said Ioku. Quote, so with that in mind, we decided to have them take center stage here, meaning Gohan and Piccolo would have a prominent role. I guess here is a I guess here's some of that picture right there. Oh, Pan is also out in front, he noted. Quote, she's a little older than we've seen her so far. Maybe she's one of the superheroes this time. Unquote. Ioku also touched upon the purple suited man seen in the image, Dr. Hato, noting that he's wearing a uniform, quote unquote uniform, and is quote unquote a scientist and maybe a hero too, unquote. There's, I guess, Pan from Dragon Ball Super Toei Animation. The producer then moved to reveal that there was a second part to this key visual, unfolding the image to unveil images of Bulma, Android 18, Krillin, and in particular shock to longtime Dragon Ball fans, teenage versions of Goten and Trunks. Quote, some time has passed since the events that unfolded in Broly, unquote. He noted, quote, thus, Goten and Trunks have grown a bit older. They've gotten taller. I guess this is more of the scene right here. And you see the far left there is where they're talking about that's Goten and Tenks right there. Taking notice of how the two half Saiyans were in the middle of the fusion dance, Sasha asked the panel if audiences would see a fusion in the film. To which Kodama vaguely asserted, quote, well, when it comes to Goten and Trunks, fusion is only natural, unquote. Sasha also pointed out the misalignment of the pair's fingers, asserting, quote, all this must be the fusion which is not the right one. Like how we saw Big Gogeta, that was um, that was of course the fusion of Goku and Vegeta before. Um, and there was that slim Gogeta too, right? Unquote. Quote, when it comes to these two, they're going to do the fusion at some point, unquote, teased Ioku. Quote, I'm not sure how that'll play out in the film, but if they're both there, they might have done it, unquote. And this, I guess, is from Dragon Ball Super Broly. This might be Goku and Goten and Trunks fusing into Gotenks, but it's kind of a fat one there. Following the premiere and discussion of some new footage as presented below by Dragon Ball Twitter news account DBS Hype, the panel turned to the topic of the Red Ribbon Army and their role the film's apparent as the film's apparent antagonist. Let's see what you guys might be. Did you say No, not Digimon. Dragon Ball. The two animes that we've talked about tonight are Jujutsu Kaisen and Dragon Ball. Huh. Quote, how we ended up discussing whether or not to include the Red Ribbon Army was we first talked about how we wanted the battle to take place on Earth, recalled Ioku. Because the franchise has come so intergalactic in scale, quote unquote, asked Sasha. Quote, that's right, unquote, replied the producer. Quote, so when we decided to have them fight on Earth, we started saying once there was a Red Ribbon Army and how it could be a battle against an army, not just one on one, and everyone in the army has their own motivations and the way of thinking, including new villains, Magenta and Carmine. And I guess those are the two new villains, as it were. He continued, quote, so we thought that because not everyone thinks the same way, we would be able to paint a picture of an interesting antagonist, which is how we ended up settling on the Red Ribbon Army. Now, for those of you who might not know or remember, the Red Ribbon Army was actually one of the first um, major antagonists that Goku as part of the original Dragon Ball series back when he was still a child. So. He continued, quote, so we thought that because, oh, okay, we actually read that part, sorry. Sasha then inquired, quote, so they're not a cohesive organization, unquote, prompting Iyoku to confirm, quote unquote, exactly. Oh, wow, look at that. I don't know if that's supposed to be a video screen or if um he's actually got Vegeta inside of there or something like that. Oh, it might have been been a wrong idea. We still don't know, unquote. The Shueisha producer joked. Quote, however, we thought it would be great if we take advantage of this framework to make an enemy more interesting, which um, which made the Red Ribbon Army appear in the story, unquote. Finally, in conclusion to the panel, the trio announced that the film would be coming to North America this summer. Though no specific date for its premiere was given, are you excited for Dragon Ball Superhero? Let us know your thoughts on social media. So there we go. So we got through all of the main articles tonight. And we're at an hour 46, so we actually made good time tonight with this. So I think it's a good time, unless anybody has anything they want to ask or say. It's a probably a good time to start winding down. Um, unless there's anything you guys wanted to ask or say about what we've talked about tonight, or anything else that might be on your mind in regards to niche, you know, anime, cartoons, comics, manga, pro wrestling. I do know that there has been talk that Vince McMahon may be getting back in the ring for a match that this year's WrestleMania, battling commentator Pat McAfee. The thing that makes that pretty interesting is McMahon, even as healthy as he is still a 76-year-old man. So let's see. I am good. Let's see. I don't know much about Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball Z seemed pretty cool, but I don't think I watched much of the series. No questions here. All right, then I think probably a good time to start winding down. So if you guys are ready, I think it's time for this day in niche history. History. Okay, so let me see. So today being Monday, this is of course the last day of February 2022. Monday, February 28th, 2022. Why don't we go ahead and take a look back on this day in niche history? And we first head back 40 years ago, as on this date 40 years ago today, Ole Anderson and Stan Hansen had won the NWA World Tag Team Championship in a tournament in Atlanta, beating Jack and Jerry Briscoe in the Eastern Division final, and then were awarded the belts by forfeit when Western Division finalists Wahoo McDaniel and Don Morocco. Now, the interesting thing about the thing you need to note about the NWA World Tag Team Championship at this point is that it was not really a fully recognized world championship by the NWA. See, this is still a time when the NWA was only recognizing the world heavyweight title, the singles world heavyweight title, the world women's title, the world junior heavyweight title as world titles. The world tag title, many now at this, even though a lot of the territories were starting to um, be absorbed into Jim Crockett Promotions, they were starting The NWA title, the NWA World Tag Team Championships they're talking about here are the titles that eventually became the WCW World Tag Team titles. These were the NWA World Tag Team titles that were claimed by Mid Atlantic. These were the Mid Atlantic version of the NWA World Tag Team title. Now, by this point, of course, they were the only, I believe, they were the only World Tag titles that were being recognized at this point, and therefore were kind of the by default were the world. The anime part, if the show is cool, Mike, I'd like to learn more about anime. It used to be a lot of anime had to be specially ordered from video stores. Yeah, well now you can probably just go online and get any anime, Lorenzo. Yeah, but anyways, as I was saying here, 40 years ago today, Ole Anderson and Stan Hansen had won the Mid Atlantic version of the NWA World Tag Team Championships. Um, so moving on to the next piece of niche history. As we move ahead to 2007, that'll be on our next stop. On this date in 2007, which was 15 years ago today, the 35th issue of Walking Dead from Image Comics went on sale through their Skybound imprint. So on this date, 15 years ago today, the 35th issue of Walking Dead from Image Comics through their Skybound imprint went on sale on this date. It sold for $2.99 with 32 pages. The part 5 of this Sorrowful Life story arc, written by Robert Kirkman, art done by Charles Adland, who also did the cover art, as you can see right there, and then Russ Wooten did the lettering. That happened 15 years ago today. Now there's so much anime, I get overwhelmed by the number of choices. Yeah, that can happen, Lorenzo. Anyways, one more piece of niche history to go through here, which happened actually 10 years ago today on this date back in 2012. So on this date back in 2012, Warner Brothers Animation Justice League Doom was released direct to video on this date back in 2012. 10 years ago today, the Warner Brothers Animation direct to video movie Justice League Doom went on, was released on this date. Released on this date in 2012. So there you go. So that's all of the history portion of the segment. Don't forget, as always, on Fridays we have our historical comic retrospect where Batgoat will be with me. This Friday, of course, we'll be finishing up October 1938 coverage by going through the comic that went on sale in October 1938 from Quality Comics, which was Feature Funnies Volume 1, Number 15. Will be, of course, which will be reading the features of The Clock and Black X. Don't forget to come back tomorrow for more niche news and highlights. So I thank you guys for being here tonight. I hope to see everybody tomorrow. Bye.